Hello and welcome. It's a Sunday and it's the 24th of December, and welcome to National Eggnog Day. It is, of course, Christmas Eve, and this is my Christmas vlog. Thank you for listening, and if you enjoy it, please encourage others to share and subscribe. Now, for Doctor Who fans, Ncuti is in the wings. We're waiting to see his full Christmas special tomorrow on Christmas Day. But before we get on with that, I have a question for you. What animals do you think of at Christmas? I shall give you the answer later. Now, the 24th of December in 1814, the Great Britain and America signed the Treaty of Ghent in Belgium, which brought to the end the War of 1812. So it is a bit sad that only 100 years later we hear of a Christmas Day story in the Great War that was the war to end all wars in 1914, where both sides, the Germans and the British, the soldiers didn't fight, they stopped fighting and they met each other. They shook hands, played football, sang Christmas carols. Personally, I find this story very emotional. And of course, it highlights that the ordinary soldiers didn't want to fight. Now, Christmas, of course, is generally thought of as a jovial time. But like myself, there will be others reflecting on family and friends who are no longer with us. My mother died last December, and so this is our second Christmas without her. And so I'm thinking of my brother and my nieces and nephews at the moment. But also my aunt died in July. So I'm thinking of my cousins who are having their first Christmas without their mother. Further afield, there are families in Prague who are having to cope with the losses after a crazed gunman run amok. And I'm thinking of service personnel who are doing their duty far away from home. There has to be the continued support for Ukraine and diplomatic efforts regarding Israel and Palestine. But let's not get too serious. Let's get back to Ncuti. As I say, his first full episode is tomorrow, Christmas Day, and I have a prediction. It will polarize the fans. And may I remind the fans that every new Doctor has a period of adjustment. I remember a time when John Pertwee was first announced, and there was a real hoo-ha, and every pun intended there, because up till that point, John was known as a very good but lightweight actor who did comic voices. And who could predict what he would produce as his Doctor? And the second prediction will come along later, but I want to remind you also that Tom Baker was scorned upon when he was announced, because he'd done a few films and a few small bits in TV, but he wasn't really known because he was more of a Shakespearean actor. And again, the fans at the time were up in arms and they couldn't see him being Doctor Who. So my second prediction, as I say, is that in 2024, it's an election year, not only in the UK, but also in America. And there are a few other countries that are going to have a change of political colour, I think, with their elections. What with AI and spin doctors, we're not going to be told the truth, and we're going to be bombarded with what Winston Churchill referred to as lies, damned lies, and statistics. And it will be difficult for us as the ordinary folk who needs to put their cross on the piece of paper to actually distinguish between what is fact and fiction. Margot Channing quote from All About Eve comes to mind. Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night. Right, back to the question I asked earlier. What animals do you think of at Christmas? Well, the answer is very simple. You think of all of them. Because pets are not just for Christmas. And of course, other animals and other life on Earth is precious and important for our survival. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful New Year. Until the next time, ho, ho, ho!